Most of us were indoctrinated into the cult of niceness. Can you finish this statement? If you don't have anything nice to say... Correct. We all have the same parents.
Yes, we do. Are you a fixer who has a hard time setting boundaries? Like, who isn't? Dr. Terri Cole is a licensed psychotherapist and relationship expert. She has a new book out called Too Much: Breaking the Cycle of High-Functioning Codependency. She's here to dive into the details of this book. I'm so excited to have you on. I'm somebody who is such a fan of your first book, Boundary Boss, because so many people don't know boundaries and what they are. People think they're putting boundaries on people, but they're not.
Correct.
Right.
They're just controlling them or trying to.
Correct. And now with this one, I think what is so fascinating to me when I first dived in is you find that there are so many high-functioning codependents who come to you looking for therapy, and they don't think they're codependent at all. So how did you get them to see some of what they're doing?
Well, I actually coined a new phrase. I actually sort of expanded the meaning of codependency to fit modern life, women in modern life. What are we experiencing now? A lot of us feel compelled to do everything for everyone and have successful careers and raise children and take care of aging parents. And so with my clients, the problem is that they couldn't see themselves in the problem. As soon as I added high functioning to codependency, they were all like, me, I'm the problem, it's me, no problem, right?
Well, and I find that so interesting because, you know, we talk all the time, women talk about how exhausted they are, how, you know, they are doing too much, or they wish they had a partner who did more, but they don't want to label themselves in this issue. How do you know if you are a high-functioning codependent? I can't even say the word.
Yes, indeed. You're like, I'm allergic. Well, I think we can start with doing a quick resentment inventory. Because if you're feeling resentment, you're probably doing too much in certain relationships. You might be over-functioning, and a lot of times this can inspire other people to under-function.
And as you talk about, it's not just in relationships, which a lot of people think about, in personal relationships. It can be friendships, it can be parents, it can be kids.
It's careers as well. I mean, think about management. Like how much of the time, if you're a manager, are you doing work for it that other people should be doing, or are you micromanaging other people? Because as HFCs, as we call ourselves, high-functioning codependents, we don't trust other people to do things the right way or the way that we're going to do them.
I can do it better, so I'll just do it.
Yeah, it's easier for me to do it myself, but when you build your life on that, it's not easier, it's exhausting.
So how do women kind of tackle this? Because you do focus a lot on women, and I think that's important because whether you're putting in boundaries or you're talking about these types of things, women then get labeled if they go the other, if they're not nice, if they, you know, if they're kind but not nice.
Yes. I think you have to really look at learning what is your side of the street. Where are you taking responsibility for the feelings and actions and responsibilities of other people and thinking that it's yours? And I think that's the biggest thing. When we can make that distinction, like what is actually on my side of the street, our relationships are so much happier because we're so much happier.
And you have to self-care.
So much.
You're a big proponent of that.
I am self-consideration, though, is what we're going to call it, instead of self-care. Because self-care can sound like a mani-pedi, which can be self-caring. Yeah. But self-consideration is asking these two questions before you take on anything. Do I have the bandwidth to do this without becoming resentful? And do I even want to do it?
And so many people say no, but they instead say yes.
They think no, but they say yes because there's a lot of fear of rejection or disapproval or people perceiving them as not nice. But I promise you, saying yes when you want to say no is not nice. It is misleading and giving people corrupted data about who you are, and it's not good for your relationships.
Oh, Terri, I could talk to you all day. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And make sure you check out the book, Too Much, Rutabaga.
I'm going to remember the corrupted data part. Thank you.